Well, thanks for staying with us on The Real Story. This morning, we are covering the candidates eyeing Hartford City Mayor after current Mayor Luke Lebron announced that he's not going to be running for re-election in 2023. Democratic Councilman Nick Lebron, who is running for the role, is joining us right now. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so first of all, just tell us about yourself. You are in your first term on the City Council, which you were just telling me is 4 years, right?
Yeah, that is correct, yes. A wonderful 4 years, one that had the pandemic that no one anticipated previously, so. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's no preparing for that as leaders in those positions. Say no guidebook on that.
Right.
All right. So, but take me back. You're a Hartford native.
Sure.
Where did you grow up? And what was your childhood like in Hartford?
Oh, so my childhood was great. My mom moved to the West End, so I would say I was primarily raised in the West End, but I lived all over the place. I was born in the North End and lived in the South End, so I'm a Hartford native from all four corners of Hartford.
And I was reading an article, you call yourself a Hartford success story. Can you explain that to us?
Well, I mean, that's the reason why I'm running for mayor. I'm a Hartford success story, and I have a Hartford success plan. One that is a vibrant community, one that is unifies the community, one that is economically thriving, and one that is safe for everyone.
What is Hartford doing well right now, the direction it's going, and what do you think needs to change?
Well, I think what's going well is thanks to the mayor and the previous administration where we faced bankruptcy. And so the mayor had courageous conversations around the region and stabilized Hartford financially. I think what we need to do is pivot towards neighborhoods now and have intentional investments. And I think that there's a correlation from investing in those neighborhoods, because if neighborhoods are successful, downtown is successful, and the whole city is successful.
What are you seeing in neighborhoods right now that you feel like needs more attention?
Well, I think there's certain pockets in certain areas. So there's some areas that struggle with substance abuse, while other areas struggle with homelessness, and other areas that haven't been invested in for decades. And so having a very specific focus and targeted efforts to address those chronic needs.
I know we were just talking to Senator Fonfara, and he was kind of saying something similar in terms of needing to go directly to the specific neighborhoods. He was saying that it's about funneling funding that's already there. Do you think we need more funding to Hartford, or do you think it's about moving around existing revenue streams that are already there?
So that is a city that struggles with perpetual poverty. Whenever you ask about more funding, I think the easy answer is yes. But just getting funding isn't the answer either. It's targeting those funds in a way and making sure that we don't just go after lofty ideas, but that we follow through on those ideas to make sure that the service, the people in our city get the service that they rightfully deserve.
Give me an example of a service in a neighborhood that you think could benefit a specific area.
Well, I was walking here today. This neighborhood, like right in the front, there was drug paraphernalia that I had to walk over. And it's very interesting because just right a block from here, from the state capitol, we just had a murder yesterday. And a young man of 18 years old was just killed right here on Broad Street. And so these things aren't removed from vibrancy that currently exists, but one block over we see these struggles that continue to happen, and we have to address those things in a reality. We can't just desensitize the violence that continues to happen, and we have to really have courageous conversations about attacking it and addressing it.
What role do you think the pandemic played on exacerbating issues on poverty, mental health? What have you seen?
Well, my career has been at the intersection of behavioral health and education. So one of the things that I felt as chair of the Health and Human Services, and during the pandemic, a month in, we identified and talked about COVID before it even became like the whole shutdown. Mm-hmm. And so what happened is that folks' lives, they weren't able to go outside and celebrate the different things. And so in their normal daily process, it all became merged. And having a background in therapy, that is not always the healthiest approach. You have have to have a centered approach that focus on your whole lives, being able to exercise, being able to go to work, being able to leave, come back, compartmentalize yourself in a way that addresses your whole self. And when you're unable to do that, it creates anxiety, undue pressure, stresses, and I think that led a lot to the behavioral and mental health instability that we saw in our communities.
Yeah, talk to me about the work you do. I have here that you are with, is it Active? Hold on, I wrote it down. Active City.
Sure. So
Active City.
Yeah, that's my volunteer effort. So I did that as a volunteer, and my friends and I, we started and founded Active City more than a decade ago, and we like to say we had a budget out of a shoebox, right? And serving, just rolling out a basketball and serving, 20 kids. Now it's a robust program that we have 18 different partners, have multiple different sports, and serve over 2,000 kids a year. And one of the things I love, and what we rolled out this past year, was sports for kids who had autism. And just seeing those young folks having a field and going out and playing when they're normally used to being restricted in schoolrooms and in classrooms, and teaching them how to play sports, that was such a wonderful sight, and wish we could do more, because that group has a wait list. So that's the volunteer, the aspect that I'm very, very proud of.
Tell me what you think you could do as mayor that other people wouldn't be able to do.
Well, I think just going back to that program that with children with autism in sports, one of the things is being able to do more with more. And so having the ability and the access to different resources in different areas, and how we provide services for our communities, both in all neighborhoods. And I think that's what I'll be able to do. Along my journey, although it wasn't linear, I was able to find success at every step of the way. And a lot of it, and most of it, well, all of it had to do with what Hartford provided me. I love my city, and I'll do anything for it, and that's why I want to be mayor for the future of Hartford. How
important do you think it is for the mayor to be representative of the people in the city? You were saying that you think Mayor Luke Lebron did a good job.
Sure.
But how important do you think it is to have someone who might be, let's say, have a Latino background,
sure,
or have an African American background?
Yeah, I think.
Or be African American?
No, sure. I think it's important of what we're saying to our youth, that they can see themselves in the leaders that are leading their city. What are we telling the future of our city when the leaders that are running the city don't look like them, don't come from the same backgrounds as them, don't come from the same struggles that they do? There's just so many aspects of life that you don't get to see. And having that unique lens, and a lens that comes from the neighborhood, but also having the background and the experience that I provide, both in politics and as an elected official, and doing youth sports, and advocating, and as a community organizer, gives me a well-rounded lens to come up with the potential solutions to address Hartford's chronic problems.
Okay, final pitch to voters.
Sure.
Here. I did the same thing for Senator Fonfara.
Sure.
Give us your final pitch.
Well, I love my city. My city did so much for me. And I'm just excited about what I'll bring as the mayor and the future of the city. I'm a Hartford success story, and there are many success stories such as myself. So thank you for this opportunity.
Of course. Nick Lebron, City Councilman here in the city of Hartford. We appreciate you coming in and giving your pitch to voters. Of course, we have a while until the primary,
sure,
so you all will be back on again.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
And as we continue to cover the candidates to be the next mayor of the capital city, be sure to go back and watch our episode with former Senator Judge Eric Coleman, who told us about his hopes for Hartford and why he's running for mayor, in an interview here on The Real Story. And that does it for us on The Real Story. If you want to watch these segments again, you can head to fox61.com or download the Fox 61 News app. And if you missed any of our episodes, or you want to rewatch The Real Story, you can find them streaming on Fox 61 Plus. And watch The Real Story every Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox 61. Have a great morning.